Hello, my friend and friends. Welcome. We're doing a live stream. So exciting. First of all, sorry for any issues with the previous stream because I started to stream and then I don't know what happened. There was a weird glitch. And then when I went to go back into the studio, the stream didn't exist anymore. And I had to really quickly start a new one. So yeah, sorry for the... You had 3 alerts. That's weird because I only started 2 streams, so I don't know if there's 3, but I guess YouTube, I don't know, weird, but sorry about that for anyone who had notifications on. Yeah, hi. Hopefully my audio levels are okay. Please let me know because I don't stream often enough, and this is always an issue on these. And yeah, just seeing there's a new pope, I didn't even know. So we're gonna get rid of the fire now. I think it's a little bit much, but yeah, I think, yeah, I didn't know about the new pope, so not on purpose for the stream. We are going to be doing a game called CSS Hell, and it is linked in the description, maybe. I don't know. I really quickly put the new description back together, so there's potentially links missing from there. So I do apologize if that's the case. And we're going to be doing a few different things in this stream, because well, how's this? I don't know how long the game's going to take, but we're going to try the game CSS Hell. I'm going to talk at least about the State of Devs survey that's coming up and potentially do it a bit. And near the end, we'll probably record a podcast episode too. And I have a few other things. There's something first actually I want to talk about that wasn't planned originally, but there's been some events this morning that happened that need talking about. So we're going to be starting with that, but I'll wait like 2 minutes as people sort of come in to hear. And if I see numbers are still going up, so I'll wait another minute or two. And actually, let's get, I set for like I wanted the match the thumbnail there, but we'll go back to more of a blue color in the background, which doesn't seem to want to work. Let me go back now. My light doesn't want to change color. If not, we get a red background today, and that's okay. Oh, my app is just frozen. 1 second. Let's try that again. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome. If you're first live stream here, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Oh, see the full shirt. Yeah, I figured this one would be appropriate too for the stream with the Z index on there. But there we go. I don't know where I got the shirt from. I don't remember the store. I did wear it in a previous video. So in that one, I do believe I linked to, there we go, I got the blue to work. I did link to it there. I can never find the store again. I have to like search my emails to find the purchase of it. But I'll shout out to Jess who got the shirt made. She had it and then wherever she got it from didn't exist anymore. The person who had the store shut it down, so someone else made it. But I don't know who makes the shirt. I'm really sorry. But if you look for it, I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere. There's probably people that have copied it by now as well. So I don't know the original person. I do apologize for that. I saw a few Tailwind jokes so far. So we're going to be jumping in. I'm trying to think where I want to jump into. Okay, we're gonna do some housekeeping. Okay, no, I'll tease what we're gonna be talking about. What we're going to be first talking about, for those who haven't heard about it, is this, which is Figma's new thing that they just announced. This is not part of the CSS Hell, but it sort of does come into it a little bit. So they released this new sites feature where you can build a site directly in Figma and publish it to the web, and it's made. And when I was reading about it, I was like, oh, this is just going to get a lot more people sort of stressing about the state of the web right now. But I think it shouldn't. And basically what happened was this morning I was in Blue Sky and looking around and, oh no, I lost the post that I was supposed to be on. I was supposed to be on a specific post there on that tab, but I'm sure we can find it. Look at all, I'm going live. Where is it? This one. This is the original post that came up talking about some of the problems with it. And let's just say there's a lot of problems with it. And I feel like they shipped a product that wasn't ready. And hopefully it's not ready. Let's just say that. We're going to come back to this. So this will be our first thing. We'll spend like 5-10 minutes talking about it, and then we'll get into the game itself of what we're going to be doing, which is, okay, housekeeping. first things first, I am doing a workshop in New York City in the end of June, June 24th. So if you want to come, again, I don't know what links are actually in the description and which ones aren't, but I'll put that one down there. So if you want to come and hang out, it's the new CSS toolkit. It's a one-day in-person workshop, my first in-person workshop that I'm basically doing since I've finished teaching. So that's kind of exciting. Or teaching in the classroom, I should say. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're talking about all the new CSS stuff, but I want to do it as like 80% of what I'm teaching is you can use right now without any worries, with the caveat that some of that will be progressive enhancements. And there'll be like a 20% of stuff that's really cutting edge and new and very, very new. But yeah, that'd be an in-person workshop with the Smashing people. And the end of June. So if you're in New York City and you can get your work to pay for it, because it is kind of expensive, I apologize. But it is what it is. They got to rent a venue and all the other stuff to do this. So that is going to be happening. Another thing really, really fast, if you don't want to do an in-person one-day workshop, is I do have courses. I'm currently in the process of revamping Beyond CSS, or not revamping it so much as like updating. I'm going through the course right now. I've already updated the first 3 modules to be more up to date, and I'm going through module 4 right now, and then 5 will be done as well to fix a few things, typos, that, but also adding a few things and making it better. So this is my most advanced course, like way more advanced than other ones. If you're newer to CSS, it's going to be a little bit longer, but I'm also going to be doing a full revamp. Like this course is getting CSS Demystified, which is more my beginner/intermediate course, is being crushed down to 0 and then rebuilt from scratch, and better than ever, and all of that stuff. So I think that's everything I wanted to do for my housekeeping. Before we jumped in, it is in my notes. That's all I had. So we're going to dive in back to this, which I won't go through the Blue Sky post, but I'll put a link to it. So if you want to look at this thread, because there's some interesting stuff in there. But we're going to jump over to here. And so, yeah, Figma, you can now make sites directly in there. I don't know what plan you have to be on. I do pay for Figma, so it is possible it's on paid plans only. I really don't know if it's free for everyone or not. And when I saw the post, I was like, maybe it's just because they didn't do sometimes you see things where like people are like, oh, this is terrible. What it produces is terrible. And they're sort of not being completely honest about it. Or, they didn't go to the level you'd have to go to actually make a good product. So I was like, oh, I'm going to come in here, and this is the one I use. So I'll use the same one because I'm familiar with it. And we're going to use this template. And then I'm going to publish this to the web, and I'll share the link to this. Let's just call it Kevin's new test site. And we're going to hit publish on here. It does take a minute to publish, but like it doesn't look bad, right? And it's kind of neat, actually. The way they did this is like you design stuff, and then you link, if I can, interaction, like, is the interaction, there we go. You have like all these things that you reuse, and it tells the browser how to do it, and you can build links into things. So if we go and look in our navigation, you have these links here where you can actually like link to stuff. So like if I get into there we go. This one's actually opening a link going to like Figma something or other. So you can add links to wherever you want them to go. I think you can even make it really like that should go to the about page. There you go. You can actually like tell it what page to link to and stuff. So like it's not bad. And you do different views, and then it makes it responsive somehow. So let's go see here. It looks like it's live. I'll put this in the chat so you guys can check it out too. And it doesn't look terrible. If you make it responsive, it's not the end of the world, I guess. Elements, let's just do my mobile mode. And so like, it's working. It's okay for like a visual site builder. And then if you go and look at the code, like it's beyond div soup. Like this is the main heading is a span I'm actually surprised it's a span, to be honest, with it just a div and 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 a div. It's divs all the way down. Except let's go look at like this piece of text. And this is something I found really interesting. Let's go to the mobile mode actually. We're going to look at this piece of text, and we have a div that the text, and look at that, it even has an area label on it. I don't know why. And then we have dynamic open J, and then the M is in a span. And every single string of text, as far as I can tell, for some reason, the last letter is in its own span. There must be a reason that they did this that I just can't figure out what it is. There has to be a reason someone would do that, right? So I'd love to know if anybody has any ideas there. The other thing that's fun here is, I guess because this is a heading, they decided that, well, it's not a heading, it's a div. So we're going to give it an area label for some reason. But the problem now is if you're using a screen reader, it will read it twice, because an area label means read this out loud, and then it reads this out loud. So I'm not sure what the idea was there. The other fun thing is if you make a link, these are just the things I found fun. But if you make a regular text link like this one, oh, it's a text link. It's actually, look at that. It's actually using the semantic A tag. What about this one here that looks like a button? No, that one's a div. So as soon as you make something that has a background color on it, it turns it into a div for some reason. Once again, oh, we have an area label on there. I didn't even notice that. And it's just a div. Can we find the link part of it? Because the link part of it is fantastic. Oh, is that one not actually click? Oh, it's all the way up here. There it is here. So it's a div with a role of link. I should make this bigger. I just realized I'm streaming. It's already pretty big, but it's a div with a role of link. So semantically, it's now become a link. They had to add the tab index on there to make it something we can focus. They have an href on there. And then they have some inline styles. And we'll get to the inline styles in a second. But the href being on here means that they're actually using JavaScript to find the href and make it go to where this link is pointing to, instead of just making this a link that it goes to. The other thing is there is like some effects on here. So like there's hover effects. But well, you'll notice it now. Like I was playing around in here trying to get these guys to work that are under my head. Let me move out of the way. I was trying to get these guys to work right here, and nothing was working, and I couldn't figure out why. And it's because, oh, their hover effects are, you can see here with this inline style, is being done with JavaScript as well. To me, this is a really big problem. Not only, like, well, first of all, there's going to be people that actually make sites with this, and they're not functional sites. Like, there's no heading on here. There's no, everything's a div. Is a div, is a div, is a div. It's insane. But then, like, beyond that, like, people will make websites with this not knowing any better and not realizing how bad it is. So that's kind of interesting as well. But to me, what strikes me as the most shocking, I guess, in a way here, is the way Figma became big. Was they're like, we're going to make a product that does something better than the competition. And they basically did that, right? Like we had other ones before this. We had Sketch, and what was the other one that went out of business now? I forget the name of it. There was a few of them though. And then Figma came along and basically, I mean, I think Sketch still exists, but it's not what it was. And there was the whole Photoshop thing, but it did fill that niche in that Sketch had sort of created. And they made a really good product. And I know not everyone loves it, especially with the subscription model and other things with it, but like they did make a product that people liked. And despite making a product that people liked, like it had a polish to it, let's just say. And right now what they're doing is making a terrible thing. They're going to say it's in beta or whatever. But like you don't release something in beta that's half-baked like this, in my opinion. If you're like, it's just, this should have just been like version 1 that's like a closed alpha. This should not be like, I'm curious what the closed alpha was, because I'm blown away that they thought this is something that they could make public in any way whatsoever. It really, I find the quality of it. And it's also like, it's not like, I'd understand if this was the first of its type of thing doing this, maybe there was an issue there, but it's not. They have Framer, we have Webflow, and there's many others that are visual. No, InVision was the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Paul. There was other visual, or there's other no-code editors that are out there that actually build a semantic website. And there's the one drawback there is to use those well, you do need to understand a little bit of HTML and CSS, but not very much. And part of the problem here is just the way the Figma interface works. Like, how can we use Figma to make a website? And nothing, like they have this new link thing that's currently behind my head. Let's go to my wishes. I'm on wishes for everything. 1 second. Let me see if I can fix this. I'm supposed to move around, not whoosh around. Did that fix it? There we go. That's better. So like like I get like you have to make these and then find a way to do it. And the problem is like if I come and look at this text here, this text has a typography and it has a style, And it is a paragraph style, and there's a link style, and there's these headline styles, but they're just like style sheet. Well, they're style sheets, right? They're style. It's effectively like having CSS classes for everything. And those classes are just pointing to whatever. And there's no way that when you're creating that thing, you can actually assign it what it should be. They're figuring out how to do it, which would mean that they need to add something else, right? Where you come in and you say, okay, this is the style I'm applying to it. And somewhere in their interface, you need something to say what the level, what is it? Is it a div? Is it a section? Is it an article? Is it a heading? Is it a nav? Like, these are things that as far as I can think of, the user needs to be able to do. So like I just think like this is them jumping the shark a little bit, and they launched like 4 products at the same day, and it's probably really good because I don't know if they're going public or what. Ever since, are they public? I don't even know. They had the whole Adobe thing fall apart. I don't know what the end game is or whatever, and I don't know. Like, this is the first party integration, so people are going to use it, and I think like I'm worried that's the thinking, is like if we make something that works as long as it's first party, so there's less friction, then people are going to use it and it'll be fine. But like, it's just these massively problematic sites that I think will be hard to optimize in any, like if you just had a landing page that you're doing for something simple and you're just using a page builder anyway, there's better options out there, but I get that they can fill into some of that niche there. I think they could have done, there's a layer missing, and I'm really disappointed that Figma missed it, and I'm very on the fence of just going full on pen pot now and not doing anything with Figma anymore. I've already been sort of trending that way. I just don't feel like trying to learn a new design tool. But for anyone who doesn't know pen pot, it's a free version of this basically. That's actually a lot more linked to how CSS works as well. Like, they actually have a grid and a flexbox thing that are integrated. It's built based on the CSS spec in terms of how layout works. There's a few things you can't do, but yeah, it's kind of neat. Okay, but yeah, that's that out of the way. I thought it would fill in well with the idea of CSS Hell, though, because honestly, go and inspect, like go and look at some of the stuff they're doing in this thread that I put. Like, there's tons of really strange things going on in what's being output. So yeah, our jobs are still safe for now. Let's get on to this, which is that Rob Human, you were just in time, because we're going to be trying out this game that lots of people have been sending me. I'm getting DMs, I'm getting emails, I'm getting mentions in socials, and people keep pointing to this. This is CSS Hell, and this is the main topic of today. Though, as I said, we'll be doing a few different topics as we go through everything here. So let me just catch up on the chat, actually, before we dive into this. I see the HTML and CSS generated by Adobe products as a joke. Definitely. Yeah, I don't think, at least they're not, they have a page builder. I don't know how their page builder is, but it probably is a better version than what it is. Ragnar saying, publish a broken MVP and promise to fix it later. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that was like, it's also building inaccessible sites like from scratch, like almost intentionally. I don't want to take away either from the developers who created it, because it's probably really hard what they did to actually get that to work and to get it to work so well. But it's just, I don't think it should have been public at this point. It wasn't ready for public, in my opinion. Yeah, and I just scrolled a little bit, but Argarvolution saying, oh no, that wasn't the one I was reading. I was reading one, and then I scrolled a little bit and lost it. Just about how, like, this seems to be how it's fundamentally created. I do think they could add a layer in between, or to add semantics in, but I do think, I'm worried it's just what it is, but we'll see. We'll see what it is. Yeah, Adobe doesn't own it though. Figma, they were purchasing it for 20 billion, I think, and then because of the regulators in Europe, the deal got nixed, and Adobe still had to pay them 1 billion to end the deal, even though it was the regulators who ended it, which is interesting. But also shows you how much money they have. All right, let's dive into here. So this is the game. Hello and welcome to CSS Hell, where you have to be subjected to 15 unmanageably torturous CSS puzzles. What did I do to deserve this, you ask? But you know perfectly well. You blasphemed cascading style sheets. I saw that time your friend I saw that time your friends were complaining about CSS and you piled on with CSS isn't even a real programming language. It is. I saw you upvote the Reddit meme, let's see which one this is, about vertically aligning a div. Just use Flexbox. Yeah. I made a short a while ago about like how the meme should now be that there's too many ways to center a div, right? I saw you chuckle, and even I would say just use grid, but anyway, I'm nitpicking now. I saw you chuckle sensibly at those CSS awesome designs. I couldn't stand to let Hakon Lee's divine creation be slandered in this way, so I really hope I said that somewhat correctly. So I decided to show the non-believers like you the wrath of CSS's unhinged power. The mechanics of the puzzle are simple. For each peg, there is a hole. And each peg must overlap, even just a little, with its corresponding hole. To accomplish this, you will add CSS properties to certain divs. Click on any div to see its properties and add your own. All divs have a limit on the number of properties that can be added, usually just 1 or 2, and some are locked, no properties can be added. In general, any CSS property is allowed, with a few exceptions that you may stumble across. For that reason, I would recommend keeping the MDM reference handy. We're going to do it without that. That's a cheat sheet. We're going to do these without anything, hopefully. There's also a hint button, and should you require mercy, solutions can be found in the GitHub repository. I've tested each puzzle on Safari, Firefox, and Chrome. Safari needs version 17. You'll never need to open the developer console or modify the page directly. Thus concludes my monologue. Good luck, you'll need it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It should be fun. I have no idea what to expect. This is the meme, whenever wild requirement to vertically center an element appeared. You tried to vertically align middle. It's completely ineffective. I mean, it's funny, but I get it. Oh, and that's the CSS is awesome thing they were talking about. Okay, let's begin. Round peg. Add CSS. So this one's locked. I can't add CSS to that one, so I have to move the peg to the hole. Add CSS. Transform. Oh, this is under my head. Nice thinking. Unfortunately for you, animation, offset, perspective, scale, transform, and translate are forbidden. They just told me I could use anything, and like a few things would be locked. Then you take, oh, you can move that around. That's handy. That's kind of annoying because that's definitely how I would do it. I guess we'll try something else here. We're gonna do how do you move it if you don't have a transform? Margin left of 300 pixels. 400 pixels. Hey, we did it. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Round peg, round hole. Cool. And as long as they overlap a little bit, we're good. Nice. Well done. You've grasped the mechanics of the game. Don't start feeling too cocky, though. Things are about to get much harder. Starting now. I'm guessing these are locked? Yeah, okay. Why are they harder? So there's weird things done on the right and the top here. It is a position absolute. Okay, my question here, though. Oh, what? What am I allowed to add CSS to? Oh, I can add CSS to the box. Not to A, not to B. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay, that is harder. So let's just try. They did a left. I just want to, can I overwrite their left value? Left of 50 pixels. No, I can't overwrite what they've already done by the looks of it. Okay. Ragnar didn't like not doing it without translates. Can I rotate this is my question. Rotate 45 degrees. Okay, good. So I think we need more than that. So let's do a rotate of 70 degrees. 60 degrees. This feels a little CSS battle-y, but in a little bit of a different way. Then we want the height of this to be 300 pixels. Oops, I'm doing it all there. Height 300 pixels. I wonder if he did this without any... I can only do 2 properties? Ooh. Oh, wait, then I won't do a rotate. We're going to do a transform. That's kind of annoying. I wonder if this is CSS only, because of the way, like, I have some certain limitations with how I'm interacting with this. I'm very curious. property name is going to be transform. I can't transform. Okay, this got really hard really fast. This is bad. How do I? Oh, I can rotate though. Can I try? 1 second. Translate. Nice thinking. Animation, offset, perspective, scale, transform, translate. So I can rotate. Yeah, let's try the, no, that won't help me though. If I had more than 2 properties, I can think of a lot of ways to do this. What if I did, just for fun, padding left of 300 pixels. I'm just, see, but I need the height. Second. Trash that. Width 600 pixels. But then we're column. Because I could do like yeah, align items end, but that only gets me my A there. Huh. We have a flex. I might need a hint. I'm not gonna use it yet. Once I figure this out, I think the other one, this is gonna like teach me how the other ones work, hopefully. How the heck would you do this? You get the other one with only 2 properties. I was so sure that my idea was I rotate it and then make it tall enough, spread them out, and then you can just like add a margin to get it where you need it to go. Wait, 1 second. If I do this as a height instead, maybe what's if I do height of like 100, let's say 200 pixels just for fun? 300? No, okay. I was hoping that they would separate already, because if they did, maybe I could have rotated it in a different way. I'm missing something. I'm gonna feel dumb when I get this one. Right, and then let's just try. I don't, margin left. And if I do that, 350. Okay, I did have the right idea. Because I was thinking like I need these to line up and actually be on them. It just needs to touch. So I was touching by 1 pixel there. Okay, nicely done. I see you're starting to get the hang of things. Some backend engineers didn't make it this far, but I'm only getting started. Trust me, it's all downhill from here. Why is this one hard? I can do 2 properties. Rotate 180 degrees. Oh no, there's a transform origin on there to screw me up. Okay. Oh, that's mean. I should have read the things that were on there already. Okay, so I can't rotate it. Flex direction of row reverse. And then margin. This one is easier. Okay, margin top of 300 pixels. They sort of screwed with you there though, because they're teaching you to like rotate on that previous one, and then you try rotating and you couldn't rotate. Okay, that one I feel a bit better about now. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed my little transform origin trick. Or maybe you don't even know what I'm talking about, in which case forget I even said anything. It's fine. Anyway, I'm tired of giving you freebies. I can't wait to see how you tackle this next one. I can add to both of them. I can add 1 property to both of them. The margin, it's bad practice to mix shorthands and non-shorthand properties, and I don't like bad practice. Okay, so we can't use margin. So can I just use padding on here though? Padding left of 30 pixels. Oh, wait. Margin right. Padding right. 30 pixels? Oh, we're just spreading it out now. Okay, that doesn't work. So if that doesn't work, add CSS, border radius, height, width, color, text, font size, font weight. Can I, just for fun. Yeah, you can't overwrite existing properties they already have. I forgot. Border? No, border is gonna be the same as padding. And it's gonna push the other one away. That's not gonna work. Okay, how can I move? Now it's not gonna let me do translates either, right? That's always off. Translate, yeah, just making sure. I can't move it with margin. I can't move it with translate. I can't move it. Padding doesn't do anything. Can I do, that's a seat. Margin inline start. 40 pixels. Aha, nice. This is, I would say that mixing the longhand with the shorthand, well, I agree, you don't want to do it too much, though I'll actually do like a shorthand followed by a longhand to do one side. Margin inline end of, is this the right way to do it, or did I find, whoops. Oh no, that's making it bigger. Why is that making it bigger? Wait, position, absolute. No, okay. Why does margin on this one make my box bigger and not move it over? Oh, I have a margin. Oh wait, add margin inline start negative 100 pixels. There we go. So yeah, do not mix inline margins with the logical properties along with the non-logical ones. That is a disaster waiting to happen. Oh, could I have used margin left on, because he had the margin left, and usually, can I start that one over again? Is that home? I don't know. We'll try that on another one, but spectacular. I would have never thought to do that. Just kidding. That's probably the first thing I would have thought of, or maybe the second after this puzzle is too easy. Anyway, I regret to inform you that I've run out of easy puzzles. From here on out, they'll become a little diabolical. It will help if you think outside of the box. I feel like that's a hint. There is no box. Okay. I can't add any CSS to that one, so we're only moving this one. Height, width, color, text align, background, font size, cursor pointer, margin left, margin top. So like just for fun, if I come in, I don't think top of like, yeah, I can't overwrite existing values. Think outside the box. Can I make my own selectors? Play around with the body? Like what's position? I can do one rule only. Why can I only do one rule? Can you by off topic say some VW? It's terrifying. Yeah, don't use them. And then you're okay. Viewport units, I think for the most part, are best avoided. And especially for like font size, like don't set viewport units as font sizes. It's one of those ones like learn all the reasons they're bad, and then you might run into a situation where you can use them. There's no way that works, is there? I saw Ragnar. Oh, it works on that one. My A is there, but it doesn't work for that one, so it doesn't. I can't use it. Oh no, and I broke the challenge because it didn't undo it. Oh no. I did my all on set completely broke we broke the game. Let's refresh and see what happens. We're at number 5, right? Okay. Actually, let's go back to 4 then. Whoops. I know I can go. Now that I know that, begin. Let's just go to number 4 for a second. On this one, someone said margin left of negative 100 pixels. Whoops, I keep doing that. Negative one. OBS Studio is disconnected. Am I still streaming? OBS Studio has reconnected. I hope I'm still streaming. Hello. Oh, I think I'm back. I had a notification that OBS Studio had stopped, but now it seems to be going again. I hope it is. I am back. Okay, good. That scared me. I'm like, oh man. Okay, this. I was hoping. I thought it's 15 things. I thought I'd get through them quite quickly. I can do one property, and I can't do. It's not like he brought translate back, right? No. I just wanted to double check. I can't do a translate. I need to move it a lot. Think outside the box. I can't do a shorthand for margin because there's already margins applied. Padding 400 pixels. Why can I not use padding? Oh, padding is already set to 0. Border. Think outside the box. Border of 400 pixels solid. Black. Does he already have a border? Oh, wait, no, border. Oh, there is a border, none. All the things I'm thinking of, I can't use. Okay. Outside outline? That doesn't count? Oh, come on. That's annoying. What if I did a add box shadow of 0, 0, 100 VW red? 0. No, okay. I was hoping that would cheat it as well. Very good job. My son just got home, sorry. It's saying scroll, but I can't scroll. Do I make my window smaller? Oh my goodness. Oh no, okay. Oh wait, does it have a position property on there? It doesn't have, 1 second. Add CSS. Position fixed. It is that. And then let's just open up the dev tools then. The responsive mode. Ah, almost. Almost. Okay, let's get out of this mode just for fun. If I just make my window smaller. See, it just shrinks everything that way. I can't do it that way. Okay. Almost. The scroll of truth. With one property. Because that's the problem. Even if it is with, even if I fix a position and I scroll, let me just look here. Maybe there's height, width, background, font size, cursor, border. Position is absolute. 100 viewport width minus 5 divide by 2 plus 12. So it's always there. And then this one, margin left. Yeah, this is definitely why viewport units were used. Didn't think outside the box, but I can't. The only thing I can think about is actually making. I can't think in one property. There's nothing else we can do. Can I not? I lost my resizer of my window. That's awkward. 1 second. Let's just really squish it down. Oh wait, if we get 1 second, I might break. I keep losing. I can't reset. Oh, there it is. That's weird. 1 second though. I just want to see something because they get bigger, but I think they're always the same distance away. Yeah, that's not going to work. Hmm. That's okay. Oh, you have to. Chris, sorry about that. Um. Okay, so uh, fix that problem. So we can't use margin because I can only do it on one side. I can only add one property. This one I can't add anything to. I'm really stuck. So I'm definitely. Oh, I saw someone's position. There's no positioning on here, so inset won't work. Do I use the hint? I don't want to use hints, but if I'm looking at the chat, that's sort of like using hints anyway. I'll see if the. Force it to scroll horizontally, but if I move the box to force it to scroll I can't force it to move. I can't move it. I can't get it to move horizontally if I'm using positioning because I only have one property and they're using viewport units. So as much as like as big or as small as I make the window, I know it's going into my head right now, but as big or as small as I'm making that, like I never get horizontal scrolling. The whole thing is designed with viewport units. So I can create vertical scrolling. I can't create horizontal scrolling. I could probably do it like if I did like a margin inline start of, I don't know, well, even 100 VW, like now I'm going to get it, but now I can't add another property to scroll up and down. You have more things to move for free. What else? I want to move the box that they're inside of. It's think outside the box, but I don't know what else there's nothing I can find to click on that I don't know what else I can add styles to. Select all. There's move the peg A to the right box makes the window move the peg A box to the right. Yeah, I can do that, but then I can't make it scroll this way because it's so far off. Yeah, I'm not opening DevTools. Ah. It's they're calling it the school of truth. It has to be something with scrolling, right? This is so frustrating. Um, position fixes the solution. Move the edit. Oh my god. I would not have thought of that. I get it now. Think outside the box. Position fixed. I hope you didn't spend longer than 72 seconds on that one because that's how long it took my 3-year-old daughter, Casey, to solve. Regardless, I'm impressed by your creativity. I think you deserve a small treat. And by treat, I mean another difficult puzzle. Breathing room. So breathing room is going to do with padding, right? It has to be. So B is locked. I can't move that B. I can't move this B. I can't move that. I can only do A. Oh, can I choose the box? I can also choose the box. So A, let's just see if I got this right. This would be margin top. It's not going to let me do that. Inline start. I don't, is this cheating when I do that? Of 100 pixels. Whoops, not inline start, block start. I can't change that after, right? Margin block start of 100 pixels. And then on the box, yeah, there's no padding there. So if I just add padding of 100 pixels, padding left of 300 pixels. I can only add one property to that. We'll figure this out. 500. Is there a height set on this? There is a height set on this. If I, does that mean, 1 second, can I just, okay, no. The whole thing's set with viewport units again. Like if I make it bigger, oh, but then, no, that my viewport doesn't change size there. Okay. Breathing room. Oh, but I can add padding to the top of this. I just, okay, delete that. Add padding of 75 pixels. Too much. 65 pixels. 50 pixels on the top. The right will be 0. The bottom doesn't really matter. And then the left will be 200 pixels, 300 pixels. Oh, we already said 500, right? I thought, but that doesn't help me with my A. Oh, but then, no, but we already have a margin there. Oh, oh, wait. Can I use it? No, inset's already set. Padding on this one too? There we go. Okay. Breathing room. The titles are pretty good hints at what you need to do. The breathing room padding made sense. Okay. That makes me think, no, they probably covered their tracks on a few of them because I tried doing padding on another one and they'd already had like a padding 0, so I couldn't do it. Nicely done. You must consider yourself a real genius for working that one out. I think it wasn't bad, right? I have to admit, it looks like you've gotten a solid grip on manipulating divs, so let's spice things up. Oh no. Now I can taunt you from within the level first. Text. Div text peg. I can't change that. I can add one property here. So, oh, this is kind of interesting because if you have text, I'm assuming it's supposed to be like a string of text, but if I use a display grid or a display flex, it does become a flex item. I feel like the mixed logical operations are an oversight. Yeah, I think so too. Because there's a cool thing with text is like, even if text isn't in a span or whatever, like if you just have a string of text and the parent, as long as there's other stuff in there like divs or spans or whatever, everything on the page has to be a box. So a string of text will get wrapped in an anonymous box. You can't select that box, but it gets a box around it and it becomes a flex item or a grid item. Okay. We can do this one. We have a border cursor position. We can't add padding. We can't add margin. Just for fun, let's just say height. I don't think this is the right thing. We'll just say 75 VH. Just to give ourselves a big box to work within. This I can't change. I can't add another property there. Margin right probably won't work, right? Oh, it does. I didn't think that would work. Is this what I need to do? Or maybe I just say width 1ch. What? Why can't I add a width? But I can add margin to it. That's interesting. Oh, no, it doesn't matter why. Margin right Do they have container query units? 90 container query inline? Oh, because we're only getting one line of wrapping. That's not helping us. What if I did, I only can do one property. And I can only do one property. And can I move this? No. Locked, one property, nothing, one property. I can't touch that one and I can't touch that one. I have to do it on this one. Just for fun. And I can do one property on here. Something like display flex won't help me. If I could do a couple of properties on here, that would help me. I'm thinking the margin shouldn't work on there, but it's not. Oh, I think margin shouldn't work on that though. If it is just a string of text or a span or whatever. Figure of speech. And they brought in text. It would come to reason that it would be something to do with text. I was sort of when I did the margin on there, margin right, let's just say 50 pixels. Like it'd be kind of cool if the A was actually in the text. Because you can put like images in there, but that doesn't work. What if I just, oh, they already font size is there. How can I was going to say if I made the font size a lot bigger, it might push it down. I was trying to do it the margin. If I can't do that, what could I do? Oh, but if it's font stuff, I could do a font. Maybe I don't want to do a height on here because font properties are inherited, right? So if I add, let's just say color, is this going to blue? Yeah, okay. So font properties are inherited. I can do a font property on here and I can do a font property on here. So let's start with, font size won't work though, because we have a font size here. Ah, that sucks. If I can't do a font, div, line height, won't do anything, right? I'm moving my, oh, maybe that's, it's breaking the other thing, but I don't, that should be good actually. And then if I go in here, then I can actually add the margin right or left, I guess would work. Okay. I don't know if that was the right solution, but it worked. Kind of weird. Right, I'm happy it worked. It seems you use my words against me. Ha ha ha. Very well then. My next puzzle ends the careers of 4 promising front-end engineers. Let's see how you stack up. Boxes. We're in a Figma site now. Boxes, divs and divs and divs. Line height and letter space. Oh, letter spacing would have been smarter. That would have been cool to actually just sort of push it all over. Oh, that would. I'm wondering if I changed the font size, would the peg have increased in size then too? That's a good question. All right. Let's see. Time for a brief beginner monologue. Brief villain, hard choices. Time for a brief villain monologue. You see, it all began with my father and you're not listening. I was hoping something here would help us. Hard choices does not seem like a hint to me like the other titles were. I can change this one. I can't change that box, and I can't change that box. Those are divs, so they will fill the parent. A cannot be changed. My text cannot be changed. My text cannot be changed. I can only change this. Oh, what about these? No, those are locked too. Let's just, okay. I have one property to do this with. White space, no wrap. I don't think that's going to help me. Let's try, because if I do a width of 600 pixels, there's already a width. 50 VW. Oh wait, okay, this is sort of cheating. Letter, somebody mentioned it for the last challenge. I think that, no, that's not gonna work though. Oh, that would have been a good one. But I can only, because the texts are different lengths, that doesn't work. Unless, is there something is that the only thing I can select? Locked, 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 locked. Ah, that would have been a fun one if the letter spacing had worked. But yeah, smart doing it, and then they're making sure the text doesn't wrap, because maybe you could cheat a little bit with that one somehow. I'm not sure how. Oh yeah, because if it was wrapping, which makes me sort of think the font size won't change anything. Let's just, is it gonna be text related again, just for fun? Font size, 50 pixels. Man, it's getting really hot in my office right now. If I'm gonna stream during the summer, it's only like 15 degrees outside or something. I'm gonna be dying this summer. I need to find a way to cool this place down. 8 is fun. I solved it quickly as I used the same way in 7. I'm guessing you did something different in 7 than I did then, because line height won't help me here. Someone mentioning flex end. A flex end won't help me because I only have one property I can declare. White space, font size, rotate, margin, left, position, top width, padding cursor, border. The other, like one, again, if we had more than one thing I could declare, I would try. There's no display flex on it. These, is there? No. Because like switch the flex direction and then add a bunch of margin to it. They're locked. I wish there was like a visual indicator of what was locked and what I can. Oh wait, text is locked. Both texts are locked? Yeah. Text, lock, lock. Just double checking that I checked everything. If I am missing a choice. They're not going to do something else with the scrolling, are they? Wow. I'm not coming up with any ideas. Text, doing floats would be cool, but I can't do floats because I can't add any CSS to those. I can only add CSS to the outer box, and I can only do one thing to it. A few people saying it is text related what I need to do. There's already a font size. Letter spacing doesn't work. I saw somebody in the chat for one of the other ones talking about changing the writing mode. What's the writing? Can I writing? But even it wouldn't move my box though. Writing mode. I have to look that up. I don't even know what it is for MDM writing mode CSS. I want none of those. Horizontal TB. They're all horizontal top bottom. No. What's TB? Top to bottom? Horizontal top to bottom? Sideways, sideways, vertical, vertical. I don't want any of those, do I? I want the other one. Then how do CSS right to left text direction? Is it just direction? Yeah. Direction right to left is. I don't think that would work. Direction. I want right to left. Yeah, it's flipping that even. Okay, that doesn't work at all. Thanks for hanging out, Ragnar. Not direction, the properties inherited. That makes sense. A margin on the left of the box should be able to push both the parent. I can't put margin on these guys. I can only do it on the big one. And I can't add a margin because the margins are already declared. One second. We have a font size of 15 pixels here. Font size 1VW. There. Midwest Matthew mentioned this, and I didn't see it at all. There is a font size set in VW for div 3. No, that still doesn't work with letter spacing though. Okay. But I can't use, oh, is this gonna, yeah, margin, inline, start. It lets me do it. I'm not gonna do that because I feel like that's cheating. I don't think it's meant to work. I think this is the first thing, and then I'm supposed to do something else to get it to go there. I feel like the logical properties are cheating right now. Maybe I'm wrong. But is there another way? That's so frustrating. Okay. Is there another way that I could move that over without doing, it's on the parent only that I can select? Letter spacing doesn't work. Oh wait, what if I did letters? No. What, oh wait, letter spacing, again, spacing. I was using pixels. What if I did 0.5 M? 1.5? No, okay. Because that, it's, yeah. This letter spacing should be bigger than that one, I would think. But that's not working. And I'm guessing something like CQI won't work. Closer, but still not the right thing because one of them's longer than the other one. QWA, appreciate that you're trying to help without giving me the answer. A text-related property that is inherited and also uses the fact that the pigs are not empty. I don't know what else to say. All text-related properties are inherited, so that doesn't help me. Font size, letter spacing, font weight. Font size we can't do because we already have a font size. What else is there? Font weight. Yeah, I can't resize the window now. And is this gonna be one of those stupid things where I can then scroll over? No, okay, good. Letter spacing in VW. I should have thought of that. 0.5. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Same problem. We have less text and more text. So if the spacing is the same in them, that's not going to work. I need this one's letter spacing to be smaller than that one if I did it. Scale your window is not going to work. The whole thing is designed using viewport units. I think zooming is working for that one, but not that one, because we have viewport. Oh wait, 1 second though. We could do that. Letter spacing. There's no way that's the right thing though, is it? And then let's just say, oh, and then do this in VW. Because if that's in, no, that one's still actually changed. Oh, the font size is changing on that one. Oh, but then if I just did, is that the real solution to that one? I could have done it with the margin too. I think this is more in line with what we wanted. But if there was another solution, let me know. Oh, I missed the message on that one. I double clicked. I didn't get the humorous thing. Anyway, don't mind me. Okay, we're gonna look at all the things we have and spend a bit more attention on these. I think we're at number 9. Okay. We might take a break after number 10 and then come back to it. My parent box had a position of absolute. Text indent. I see text indent. I never would have used text indent. That doesn't come to mind because it's a property I don't use. That makes more sense. Letter spacing in M. Letter spacing in M and then resizing the window might have. I think the VW, whatever. I think it sort of would have come to the same thing. Scaling did work. And actually, let's make sure I'm zoomed in right now. Let's reset that. So our div on the outside, I have one property. Let's just see. I can add to the A and I can add to the box. I can do one property on each, and that's the only things I can do is this one and this one, which is kind of weird. My div is one viewport solid pointer, position relative, width of 40 VW, height of 5 VW, margins are on there. Position relative. So is it positioned relative to this? Margin left. I don't see a top or anything. I could use a top on that to actually move it down. And then I have a height on there already, but I could add padding to this. Let's just try something here. Let's do padding top of 100 pixels. Oh, that's interesting. Why doesn't B move? Why doesn't B move? I don't get it. Oh, 1 second. Trash that. B. Height, width, color, text line, font size, font weight, cursor, position relative. Is it positioned relative to A? 1 second. Top 100 pixels. That should work. Margin top of 100 pixels. What's this position? Why, if this is position relative, and this is position relative, I can't. 1 second. I know this is cheating. Start of 50 pixels. What? That's weird, but okay. 300 pixels. Why does B not move? Can I move this? No. Why can I move this, but anything I do on this doesn't move B? B has a top set. B doesn't have a top set, does it? Oh, it does have a top. Ah, sorry, I didn't see that. Thank you. If B has top set, does that mean I just shrink the viewport down again? Apparently not. My window is so weird. As soon as I get a scroll bar, I can't resize it. A is easy, but I feel like something I'm doing, position relative on A. It feels like there's a position relative here on purpose and I can't figure out what it is. Oh, I can't add CSS to that one. Oh wait, no, there is a position relative here. Just for fun. Top. I think I tried this, no? Oh, that did work. Okay. But it doesn't help me. A is locked. B is locked. A is available. Oh my god, I can move the text. Don't mind me. This is position relative to that, isn't it? Margin top is already done. Font padding top 300 pixels. The black box in this one is red herring. So you see, Casey, margin top doesn't affect non-replaced inline. Oh, you're back. I honestly thought you would be the last. That would be the last of you. Well, haha, well done. Let's see what to give you next. Maybe I'll put one of my unspeakably evil folder. Floating. Oh no, not floats. I thought I would take a moment. Oh wait, if this is floats, there's definitely gonna be something to make the text longer and then stuff is going to align. I thought it would take a moment to read to you some scripture. The the following is from the MDM. The float CSS property places an element on the left side of the right of its container, the left or right side of its container, allowing text and inline elements to wrap around it. The element is removed from normal flow of the page, though still remaining part of the flow, in contrast to absolute positioning. Ah, the great mystery of flow. We don't understand it, yet we believe in it nonetheless. I can't touch B. I can't touch A. I can't do anything with that A. I have two divs for some reason, and I can't do anything on the outside div, and I add one property to the inside div. Font size is related to the viewport, so if I change the size of the viewport, things move a little bit, but not enough. I think. Yeah, they're not moving enough to help me out in any meaningful way. Oh, we have black boxes here. Aha, I can do these. So I think this one, let's add some CSS. We already have a width. Darn. I can't scale, right? No. I want that to be moved over more so my A can get to here. Or wait. No, we have a width. If it was the full size, if I can get this to stretch from one side to the other without a transform, without a scale, without a width, margin left of 100%. Ah, okay. We just need to push that one all the way over. Then this one, I also have access to this div, so I'm not sure what I need to do on that div. Yes, on this div, we're going to do a line. I think I got this one. Line height, 1 point, yes, 7, 1.8, 2, 3. Oh, did you see that? The 4 was almost right on. 3.5. Nah. Okay, we can do 3. And then I have float right, height, width, margin left, margin right of 2VW, and then 1VW. I don't know why I'm using VW, just they were using VW, so I'm using VW. 2VW, and then I just change that line height on this one to be smaller. Not quite. Oh, that's not going to do it, is it? We're so close. um, let's make this in pixels instead. I feel like margin's the right one to be using because they did a left and they didn't block margins completely. Margin right. Oh wait, I can make the margin right bigger. Margin right of like 100 pixels to make the tech. That makes more sense. I was trying to hack that one. Oh, okay, we got one. We're back on track. Nice. Pretty happy with that. Splendid, just splendid. You're shaping up to be quite the CSS wizard. Speaking of wizardry, I have this neat little disappearing trick. This is me with opacity, right? Or something. Round peg, round hole, extreme. Nice. There's something on this page that I can't see, isn't there? But how do I find it? Select all. Aha. Add CSS. Color is transparent. Background is... Oh, I can't do a background. Oh, there's a transparent. Do I just have to get it there without seeing it? Margin left of 400 pixels? 500. There it is. Okay, that one was actually... We're getting easier now. Okay. I know that was a little cheap. The classic invisible div with the default cursor trick. Well, you've bought me enough time to come up with a proper challenging puzzle. Take a look. A has to go all the way down. B needs to go all the way down. C goes there. I can change this one. This is display grid. Position absolute, which is fine. That doesn't change much. Are these positioned? They're not. Order 1, order 2, order 3. I can only... I'll look at the chat in a minute just to catch up on what's happening, but I was making some progress, so I wanted to keep going. I can add something here. Can I change any of the children? No. So I can't change those. Weird. Nothing else is positioned? Because positioning would have made my life easier. With like a grid area or something. Okay. I see someone asking what site this is. It's csshell.com for anyone who's missed out on the beginning of this. How are we going to do this now? Okay. A, I can't touch. B, I can't touch. C, D, just want to confirm I can't. This one I can. Do we have a width? Just for fun. That doesn't help at all. Okay. I'm so confused. Because even if I change... No, it's using grid too, so I can't like flip the direction of them. But they're not... They have to change... Okay, let's look at these a bit more. I don't see anything about how that's positioned there. The C's doesn't really matter, I don't think. B. Height, width, text, background, font size, cursor, border radius. C, B and C are the exact same with a different color. A. Height, width, color, border, font size, cursor. Nothing in these that really changes much either. If we go back to the outside one, just for fun, if I add a height, I just want to see something. If I do like 100 VH, okay, so those are the, I was just like, maybe they're not children and they somehow ended up in there. Wow, this one's tough. Yeah, a few people saying they just joined. That Rob Human, thanks for hanging out. uh, for the people who just joined, this is called csshell.com, and we have these puzzles to solve that get progressively harder. A few of them in the middle were really hard. We had a couple easy ones, and now I'm stuck. Where you can click on elements, and you're allowed to add properties to some of them. In this case, none of the ones that are A, B, C, D, I can add anything to. They're all locked. The outer div, so the big black box on the outside, I can add one CSS property to, and it can't overwrite any of my existing properties. And this middle one here, I can add one property to. So I have to get A all the way down to there, get B to go all the way down to here, and get C to somehow move up. I almost feel, okay, no, this won't help though. Rotate, because even if I do a rotate of 180 degrees, that doesn't help me. And oh wait, no, that won't help me. The reason this one is so hard for me, and maybe I'm thinking of it too much like a layout, but I use grid a lot. And having to get the children out of their parent seems like a problem to me. And I'm like, if I redefine the rows, I could potentially like for the B and C, if I rotated it and then it had a big row that it was inside of, that could probably line up. But then my A is not fixed, right? So here, let's just try that on the outside. Grid template rows, 100 pixels, 700 pixels. See, it's pushing where I need to go down anyway. 500 pixels. Oh, wait. 0 pixels. Oh, maybe we're onto something. 0, 0, 0. We're onto something with this. How big are these guys? This is a height of 5 VW. Grid template rows of 5 VH 5 VW 10 VW. No, that doesn't work. We're close though, I think. 0. Which one's not touching right now? Is it B? C is touching though. Let's just, okay. Okay, 1 second. We're gonna trash that. Let's go in the middle one and do that rotate again. Rotate of 180 degrees. And then back onto this. Grid template rows 0, 0, 0. Except now my C is gone off the top. 100, no, it was 10 VW 0, 0. That has to be like the right idea. And then my div, this div, I just want opacity of 0. Whoops. 0. A is touching. A is where A needs to be. Basically, now I just need to get B to go down. Let's go back to the outer one. 100 VW. 10 VW. That doesn't work though, because I need the zeros so the A one is high enough. And then if we go there, that looks better. And then my div 3, B needs to go down, but C is in the right place. Oh wait, but I can just do like a margin top of like 20 pixels. There we go. Okay. Is that really the right answer to that one? Because the other thing, if you're new, they don't have to perfectly line up. They just need to be touching in any way whatsoever. I wonder if that was the right answer to that one. That feels really hacky in a way. I think the grid, the 0 to shrink them down was the right idea. Yeah, and I guess that might have been the right idea. Maybe not margin specifically, but I think it was in the right. Oh, a grid template columns would have solved it, because then they all would have just collapsed on top of each other. Because it would have put them in the columns, but the columns all had 0. Yeah. Oh, and I could have grid row 3. With the grid, they had orders. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We got there. That level is supposed to be unsolvable. It didn't occur to me. I mean, it's just not good practice to, I really didn't want to do this, but I'm afraid you leave me no choice. Behold the most diabolical puzzle yet, the gauntlet. Behold the gauntlet, the instrument of your demise. Surrender immediately. I like that there's a red herring that I can add CSS to that I have a feeling won't be a red herring for some reason. Okay, the outer box. This has to be a font. Oh, there's already a font size on there. Darn it. It has a margin, so I can't change the margin. Is there any hidden stuff on here? Just to look really fast. I don't see any hidden things. Okay. I can't change the position of any of the pegs. The C is already touching, which to me feels like we're going to do something that's going to get it moved, and then we're going to get it back. But I can't actually write any CSS for any of them anyway. B I can't write CSS for. The whole B I can't write CSS for. The text I can't write CSS for, but the font size is inheriting. That's probably important. There's a red herring that I can actually move around. So, Gauntlet I can't do anything with. The only things I can write CSS for are the red herring and this div. The text inside is inheriting the font size, but the font size is set, so I can't change the font size. And it's a viewport font size, so changing the viewport won't oh, look at that. We're moving stuff around by changing the viewport, though. That feels important and annoying. Oh my god, the C is based on the height, and B is based somehow else. Can I line up B? I can get really close. However they did this to get it to always be like this diagonal mess is insanely frustrating. Okay. Let's just for fun add a padding, I don't know why, of 40 pixels. It doesn't work. Oh, there's a padding there already. Okay. Let's add, there's margin left. Can I add margin? I just want to move it for some reason. Oh, by moving my margin, by moving the red herring, it moved C. That does also feel like, again, maybe that's not what I need to do, but it does feel important. How did they do this? Position left and then the top. Oh, okay, because left is always the same distance, more or less. But then they have it moving diagonally because the top is VH. I don't get why B is moving diagonally. Doesn't really matter too much. Margin. I also can't use transforms other than rotate. Margin, I can't change. Line height, I can't change. Was it only font size? Font size inherit. I don't know why they would put that there, because it would be inheriting anyway, and I can't change the font size on this. Line height I can't change. Vertical line I can't change. This is pure evil. How could I do this? I don't get why. Okay, let's just 1 second. I can't do margin, can I? I can do margin top. Why is margin top do nothing on this? Position is relative. What about just a top property then? Top 300 pixels. I feel like it is a red herring in a way, but when I did move, I made things wider at one point, and I added margin right. Right? Was it margin right? Margin right of like, yeah, the margin right on this negative 50 pixels. Like I can manipulate C for some reason based on the margin of this one. So maybe C is actually positioned relative to this. It's possible. Even though the top and left are in viewport units, I don't know. But I'm guessing there's something weird happening with that. And I don't even know what this is positioned. It's saying relative, but margin left, padding. I'm a bit confused about how this is here on the page. The bigger problem is the other ones that I can get really close. I feel like I want to do this. And then do like 500. Oh my goodness. Negative. Something like whatever. I can do something to get it in the right spot. But now how do I get B down? Okay, let's go look at this. I need to make the height of this higher basically, because if now I could stretch the height of that box, then A and B would touch, maybe. But it has a width of 13 VW. It doesn't have a height declared on it. This is going to get us close, but not quite. But I can get 80 VH. Do 75 VH. 70 VH. My A is actually touching, but now the B isn't touching. Or coming close. I was hoping that for some reason that would help. Vertical, oh wait, if vertical align is set to middle, but I also need the height of it then to stretch. Like a vertical align middle, I can't change the line height. Vertical align middle, and it's an inline block. I feel like that vertical align middle is really important. But I can't select anything else on here, can I? Text, I can't do anything with that text. Wait, is all of this inside the herring? Can I add a height to my herring? Height of 100 VH. Why not? Because it's just text, so it's not letting me do that. Can I add a line height to my herring? Line height of 10, 12. That doesn't want to work for some reason. When I see this blue thing shooting off here, Oh, wait, M. Yeah, even a singular one here should work. 500. Oh, there we go. Okay. 40, 50, 60. Because it's always going to center in that space, right? Because that's what the vertical align middle is influencing that. And then if I come on this and I add a height of 70 VH we did before. Ah, I don't want height then. I feel like I'm close. Wait, but what if I shrink it now? Because I just set the height in VH. Ah, that stupid thing. Oh, wait, I'm touching. I'm definitely touching. Now my problem is C, or no, A is off again now too. Oh my God. This is annoying. Uh, font size 10 pixels. No, 20 pixels. No, there's a font size set on something else. If anybody in the chat wants to give me any hints, I will take one at this point. Biggity, it's csshell.com. I should put a little, 1 second. Let's do a plus. Text. csshell.com. The only problem is depending on like what I do, because if I make this bigger, we won't see it. But whatever, I'll put it there for now. Text related property on the box, and you were right about margin on the herring. Okay, so the herring was text related property on the box. Not that box, this one, because the font size is inherit. But we have a font size, we have a line height. I can't do either of those. It's gonna be one of these stupid ones. I can't do line height. What's another font size related property? I'm not good with font. All the like text transform. Oh, is it hyphenation? How do you? I never use hyphenation. Is it hyphens? No, it's not hyphens. Oh, it is. Okay, that might work. If we do hyphens, then we resize things somehow. Oh, we're touching. There we go. And then on the herring, I knew that overflow on that text. I should have clued in on that. And then a margin left of like 300 pixels. Negative. Why is my margin not working? Was it right? Add margin right. Margin right. 300 pixels. 100. No. Negative 300 pixels. So frustrating. Okay. You survived the gauntlet. I spent months designing that one. This is getting out of hand. You shouldn't have made it this far. Perhaps I need to employ more extreme properties. Ruby align? Oh god. No, it's only supported on Chrome. Object fit? Too cliche. Conic gradient madness. I know conic gradients, but I don't know how they're going to help me here. I can't move that one. I can't move that one. I can play one thing on my conic gradient. There's nothing else on here, right? I can only do the div that has the conic gradient. The gradient is just a background though, so that has to be a red herring, right? That it is a gradient, I mean. We can't, I can do oh, left, right. No way. That the conic gradient was definitely the red herring there. As soon as I saw this was the shorthand, the longhand and not the shorthand, I was like, wait a second. Gosh, you don't even see straight through my smoke and mirrors. Well then, it looks like you really bested me. You truly are a master of CSS. What, you want one more puzzle? Just for old time's sake. Goodbye. We can't move B. We can only move A. There's no margin on A. They're not doing that twice in a row, though. B. Text align center, font size. I mean, I have to try. But the margin's going to move the other one, right? What? Margin left. Oh, wait. That was so dumb. I didn't realize it was the wrong one. This is like looking at the things. Do I have to like hunt down some missing ones here? Or am I missing something? I'm missing something. Right? I can't believe I didn't notice they were the wrong color right off the start. This is insanely silly. Hmm. If I could do two properties, I'd change the color of it and figure maybe that could do it. Um, Here, 1 second. We're gonna add a margin of like 1,000 VW to that, just so I can look around properly to see. That's 100. I wanted 1,000, just to see. I don't even know if like I should. 1,000's probably too big. They can't see you, Sean. Here. My son wants to say hi. You good? Hi. Yes. Yeah, I think I've come to. Uh, I've come to the conclusion.
My dad stinks. He's a stinky fart. Oh yeah.
I love having kids. It's the best. Okay. So I don't think there's a hidden div anywhere. All right. um, Someone's saying to look in the corners, but didn't they go far enough in the corners there? Let's try that one more time. Margin. Oh wait, margin might be a bad. No, margin could be a bad idea because technically, no, it's position absolute though. So if it is causing it to go like off screen, you would think they wouldn't make it go too far off, but like this is such a frustrating game that you never really know. But I just see white. Endless white. I can see the properties of this one, yeah. Then I have to go find my A. So B has a height, width, center, background, font size, cursor, position, absolute. I'm like, The only thing I can think of is there's something underneath it, but even if there was something underneath it, it wouldn't change me that I got A on top. What if I resize things? We've been doing that. No. It's not involving resizing. Oh, somebody just said, thank you, QW. Is it even, I don't even know if you guys can see it. Let me move my window down this way. Okay. There's a resizer up in the top right. That's in, well, once you know it's there. That's giving me B, at least. Oh, and that also gave me A. That was it. You didn't have to write anything. That was fun. Do my eyes deceive me? You solved each and every one of my puzzles. I would have given up on that last one, I think, at one point. So thank you for the tip. I must say I had very little faith in you to begin with, but you truly showed your worth. Now you've endured my punishment for spreading your anti-CSS propaganda. You're free to go. So long. Wait, where are you going? There was a lot. That was the last. That was the last puzzle. This is not a level. Is there a level now, or is it? 1 second. Stream send. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'm curious. Should I try doing this? Is this actually a level, or is this just to drive us insane? If it's actually a level, I'll try and figure it out. Whoops, wrong thing. Oh, scroll. Oh, what's that? Seriously, where are you taking that? You can turn around. There's nothing down here. Self-destruction button. I mean, that sign could mean literally anything. Yes. Look, yes, I have gone a little far with making the pig invisible or hiding it inside a div 1 pixel wide, but how about we let bygones be bygones? You don't want to do this. Okay, you want me to say I'm sorry? I'm sorry I put a literal red herring that actually wasn't a red herring. Are we even now? I'm not joking around anymore. Turn around. Just remember, even if you end me, it won't change things. It won't change the truth about you. The truth you won't even admit to yourself. You like CSS. Self-destruct. There we go. Oh, it's over. I'm finished. My CSS torture chambers all destroyed. You should go before the margins collapse. You should go before the margins collapse. You know, you've taught me something incredible today. Maybe the real vertically aligned div was the friends we made along the way. I don't think I'm going to make it. Tell Cassie that I wish she could use relative font sizes more often. It's just more responsive to different screen sizes and zoom settings. I think I'm going. I see the light. It's F6, F5, EB. That was fun. Yeah, I'm glad that people told me to do that. It was a nice little thing to do there. I thought that was a lot of fun. Really well made. A lot of very hard things there. A lot of very frustrating things for sure. I wasn't sure how difficult it would be, but the Marcos Acosta here, who created this, it's funny. I've been recently 2023, and I never heard about it. And then the last like week or 2 weeks, a bunch of people have been mentioning it to me. So I guess it's doing a little. It must have, somebody obviously heard about it and talked about it, and then it's hitting its virality now. I'm following a simple React TypeScript with Tailwind tutorial. The CSS to make it responsive is kind of overwhelming for me. What do I do? Has one been here? How long does it take to escape? You'll never escape. It is what it is. I mean, I will say I have a free course called Conquering Responsive Layouts. Um, that it's not so much about the code; it's more about the mindset of approaching how to write it. It gets into a little bit of the code stuff. That course needs a refresh too, because I do a bit too much with percentages in there. But I think like that might help, and it is free. Um, but it early on it can be frustrating. I do think with CSS too, or not with CSS, with Tailwind it can be kind of frustrating because you just have like all the modifiers for the different screen sizes sometimes that can be a bit much at times. So it depends a little bit on that front. All right. The next thing we're going to do is dive into this. Oh, I can't continue on this browser. I'll do it on my other one. We're going to be doing, I just put it there, the state of dev survey, which I have in this browser window right here. And I don't know if we're going to do everything in this, but I might just run through it quickly. Or parts of it, just because maybe we will. Well, we're gonna see. Because whenever I do these state of surveys, I do it to promote it. I really think it's good if more people do it. Because the big complaint about the surveys is that not enough people, or they're not representative enough. I guess we can get rid of that text now. They're not representative enough of the industry, just because it tends to be a lot of American white males that answer the survey. So hopefully the more people talk about it, the more representative it becomes. There's lots of people who do it, but just trying to spread the word as much as possible to get as many different people taking the survey, I think is a good thing. And this is the first year they're doing the state of devs, which doesn't involve a specific tech stack. Or like there's state of CSS, state of HTML, state of React, state of JS. Is React one of them? I'm not sure. There's state of JS anyway. And now they did this one, which is more about devs in general. So maybe there's no opinions that go in here, because whenever it's the opinion things, I try not to talk about things because I don't want to influence other people that are doing the survey. But yeah, I'm going to run through it quickly here. If it's dragging on a little bit, I'll finish it off later. But I wanted to do it here. And if you do, I did put you can search it obviously, but the link I put in the description maybe, and that is in the chat, is using a UTM just so they know that you came from me, because they like just having an idea of where people are coming from, but you can just search it too if you'd rather. Welcome, Seebeck. Thank you for dropping in. Sorry I missed your stream. My call ended, I think, as yours was, or you'd already finished, so I do apologize. How many years of experience you have as a developer? Less than 1 year or many? This one's so hard for me to answer because I don't know when I officially I'm gonna put 15. I'd have to do the math, but it's within that range, right? But I mean, I have been writing code for longer than that. Be long? Oh my god, I'm getting old. We're 2025. 15 would make it 2010. I guess that would sort of make sense. Yeah, that would sort of make sense. I'm thinking about it as like in whether as a professional student or hobbyist. See, if I'm doing hobbyist, then it would be 25 years? More? Okay, I'll let chat, you decide. Am I doing this from when I was doing it professionally or from when I started? I'll leave that blank and I'll let you guys decide. I'll go to the next question. I'll come back. Do you have a degree? Yes, but in an unrelated field to my current position. I have a BA in urban planning. How many employers have you worked for up until now? Only including salaried developer positions. One. Well, that one's hard too because I've done salaried developer positions. I guess like that doesn't count consulting, right? What is your current employment status? Because I've done a lot of consulting, I've done a lot of freelancing, but actually being hired as a developer, less so. It doesn't say professional years. Started. A few people saying started. Anyone else, if you have an opinion on that, let me know. Your current employment status. CEO, founder, entrepreneur. I always feel weird answering that. Which of these workplace issues have you experienced throughout your professional career? Nothing really. I'm lucky on that. Oh, actually, never mind. There we go. Not so much at work. Maybe okay, I'll put that too. I'm not going to do the whole survey now. I think it's going to be a bit long. I have a few other things we can do because I think this would be a little bit boring, but I'll start it off with you guys. Have you ever experienced discrimination in the workplace based on any of these? Let's just go fast. No, none. Luckily for me. Have you taken any of the following actions to, yeah, I'm going to do the survey another time. I think it would make more. Oh, we're almost at, is this the end? Oh no, yeah, this is just part of the career, then workplace technology. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole survey now. I think it'd be a little bit boring for a stream, but I'll encourage everybody to actually go through this. But I'm now trying to think when I started, would have been 1997-ish? So that would be, I'm going to say 97. It's an estimation but that would make sense. So if it's 97, that would be 28 years. Correct my math if I'm wrong there. That makes me feel really old. My kids always tell me I'm old, and now I'm feeling old. But I see somebody saying if it include hobby years, long would be at 47. Yeah, I'll come. Let me know if my math is okay on that. And we're going to continue with, oh my God, 1 second. I'm going to mute myself. We're going to do a little break, and I'll be right back. I have a break thing I can put on now. Yeah, I'll be right back. back. My phone's on Do Not Disturb, but my wife is able to break through that. So when she called for a second time, I figured I should probably answer, though it was nothing terribly important. So we're okay. What we're going to be doing for the second part, now that we finished CSS Hell, for those who weren't here for it, if you're like coming into the stream a bit later, csshell.com, definitely give it a try. It's really, really hard, but it was a lot of fun to go through it. I think I cheated a little bit on some of them, but that's okay. I'll take it. All right. Oh, Amit's here. Welcome, Amit. Thank you for coming and hanging out. I've been meaning to message you again, but yeah, we'll be in touch. It's been quiet, so I've been waiting, but I'll reach out. Okay. Yeah, I said we're going to do something a little bit different. So my idea now, that CSS Hell took a little bit longer than planned, but I want to do like a little, for those who don't know, and I didn't put a link to it, but I'll put a link. I have a second YouTube channel. Let me find the link to it now that I'm thinking about it. I'll put it in the chat, where I do like a, what's it called? A podcast. It was a podcast, but now it's, well, it still is. I just talk. Where's my, how do I share a channel? There we go. I'll put that one. So we'll put that in there. And basically this, I normally do record my episodes on Thursdays, and I was doing this instead. And I'm like, if I have time, I'll do a quick recording for an episode. And on my newsletter, which I have, I ask people to answer questions, and I'll take questions from the chat as well while we're doing this, about people's biggest CSS head scratchers. And asking people what their biggest CSS head scratcher was, and I collected responses, and I'll share them with you. And I looked really quickly at them the other day, and I definitely noticed a bit of a theme in them. And I'm curious because I have a few more answers now that came in. But if you have like something in CSS that just lately has really been bothering you or bugging you, let me know what it is in the chat at the same time. But yeah, people have been, I asked, what is your biggest CSS head scratcher? And I've never been able to find a clear list of the various layout modes in CSS, along with a list of their implications and limitations. So that one's interesting, actually. That's a really interesting question because a lot of people don't even think really about layout modes. You can just basically think if you're changing the display property, or if you're changing the position, you're changing the layout mode. That's sort of the easiest way to think about it. I can't think of an exception to that, though there might be. And yeah, I talked, maybe that was asked because I'd recently talked with Josh Como, and I brought up layout modes a few times since then. And he said the thing he sees that a lot of people that they get better at CSS is when they understand how changing the layout mode is sort of changing the environment we're working in, right? So like, say like width as a percentage changes in what that percentage is on a block element versus a grid item, for example, where the grid item, it's the cell size. Or if you go to position absolute, all of a sudden you have new properties that are becoming available to you with like a top left, bottom right. So yeah, I think the main thing to think about, and definitely like a list with all of their implications and limitations, I think would be overwhelming, to be honest. I think it's more about just getting used to sort of, and keeping things simple when you are changing the different layout modes, but it's mostly about that type of thing, I think. Creating a modal, setting it to grid, control the child with a max width that always overflows. That's an interesting one. We'll come back to that because I'm not sure what's causing it. Containment, I just want to go quickly here. So here's about containment. That's more about practical things, but this is scroll bars here. This one sounds like it's with overflows. That's retaining information. That's a little bit different. We can come back to that point. I know that there was a few others here that overflows, again, overflows in a div seem like they should constrain the content. Overflows in div then seem like they should constrain the content. Usually work front-end libraries. That's overwriting things. Unintended scroll bars, scroll burglars. We're talking about overflows again. text wrap overflows. So yeah, this was like that theme that I saw happening a lot with overflows. Organization, I know, is a thing that comes up a lot. Scrolling, again, it's like lots of people talking about overflowing, which really surprised me, I guess. I know it's one of those things that can be really annoying, but out of like 25 answers, that's like probably more than 5 people that were talking about overflows in one way or another, or dealing with that type of thing. This one's the only one that has an example. So we're going to come and take a look at this and see what the problem is with it, where they're saying position fixed, inset 0. That's on the modal. Background sky blue. Let me go back to that question for a second. On grid child elements, I often have overflow issues. I know there can be hacky stuff with VW, but I don't want to do that. When creating a modal and setting it to grid, is it not possible to control the child with a max width of 100%? It always overflows. Max width 100%. So just really fast here, let's just do a box sizing border box. And let's come on this and just say this is a width of 80%. I want to see if this is overflowing or not. Oh, it is overflowing. Okay. Why is it overflowing? Width 1,000 pixels, max width. Let's just take off this and see if that fixes things. Oh, and then it shrinks down. Oh, I know what's happening. Where we have the display grid, we're going to do a grid template columns of 100%. Yeah, that does it. There's still this weird extra space coming. Oh no, the background is here. So that's what it is. This was at 100% here originally. So grid template columns have this thing where, so yeah, I mean, now we're okay. But there's this weird thing with, if you do a display grid on something and the child, or even sometimes it's nested more than, I ran into this issue with pre-code blocks, where the code block, because there's no wrapping in it, the column is getting the size of the column. If this is auto, let's do this at 80% again, which is the default. It's going to calculate it based on this, and then everything sort of happens from there, even though we have a max width of 100% on there, because it's figuring out, this column size is getting figured out based on the content before the max width comes into play, because the max width is based on the size of the column. So actually, I just said this before, right? That with the different layout modes, percentages work in different ways. And 100% with a grid item is 100% of the cell that it's inside of. So so what's actually happening is the cell's width is getting determined by this with the grid template columns of auto. And it's really frustrating. And I found a solution to it and then forgot what it was for a long time. And it's when I was working on my HTML and CSS tip of the week website that someone in the chat reminded me of that putting 100% here fixes it. Because now the column this is only if you have a single column, right? So you're just saying the column is the same size as the parent. So now we're setting this column to the size of the parent, and then the max width and all of this is based on this size. So like the 100% here is actually based on this 100%, which is based on this here. So you get this weird chain going on. It's super frustrating. And definitely an edge case that's easy to overlook, because I've overlooked it like a million times. I don't think that's the type of overflow most people are talking about, but yeah, it's interesting that overflow things have caused so many problems. I'm wondering if there's anyone here who's run into issues. I said I was going to do this as a podcast episode. I think I'm going to plan my podcast episode now to talk about it more tomorrow, because being able to talk about this without visuals can be kind of hard. I'm trying to think of other overflow issues that people have. Where do I start writing CSS mapped against baseline and other things like Tailwind? Do I need to reset things? Is it still important? Why do so many people promote Tailwind as the way forward? What is the mapping between style classes and Tailwind? I mean, the mapping is just what they decide it is. There's no official, like Tailwind isn't an official anything. It's a company that makes it. So they decide how to make that mapping and how to do it. So that's there. A lot of people promote Tailwind because they find it easier. There's less decision making, I guess, that has to go on with it. Is the main thing with that. But wouldn't using either a dialogue element or the popover work better than a div with a mode? Oh yeah, I think they were doing a proof of concept here, and just to show me what the problem was, rather than actually having it working. But yeah, we wouldn't want to do a modal like that. Definitely do it the proper way. Today, not to worry about it. The browser debug points you where properties and elements are assigned. Overflows and media on Zoom auto repositioning. What about min width? Min widths are always dangerous. Min widths can definitely get in the way. I mean, do I have the demo for it? If I go to CodePen, I'm not sure if I have this one. One thing that can happen with overflows that can be a little bit annoying. Do I have the demo? Is it this one? No. I don't know if I have one. I had a demo because I did a video the other day, but I don't know where it is. No, I don't have it. It's in the video that I put out yesterday. I don't know where my demo file is for it. I talked about one of the issues. I think it's one of these placeholder form. I had a modal that was popping up. Date created, date updated might help. Can I find it? This is bad content when I'm just looking for things. Form tips, bring back button. No, it's none of these. That's so weird. It was a while. The video just came out, but I was probably this one. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. So like this, you can watch like a better version of this. But basically, if you have something like this, talking about modals that are popping up, I am doing that with a dialog and then just using the show modal and close modal or close methods there to open and close it. But the main thing was having in my dialog, I had created a dialog content. And so my close button, I mean, I guess this could also go here. It wouldn't have actually changed anything. But the main idea was just having this content area, but this doesn't have a position on it. Because if the dialog content does, dialog, or actually, let's really fast here. Because I know this is something that catches some people out with overflows. Button. So here, I'm just going to take all this stuff off dialog content and put it on dialog. So if we open the newsletter thing, overflow scroll, overflow, we want scrolling. So if I have my scrolling here on the overflow, you can see the button is actually hidden now, because the reason the button's hidden is because I have an overflow of scroll. And even though I'm saying the scroll's only on the y-axis, up and down, I'm getting the overflow coming this way as well, which is super annoying. And the reason for that is because when you change the overflow in one direction, it's going to become auto in the other direction automatically. The only time you can not do that is with clip, but we don't want clip here because we definitely want scrolling. So just having all of this on the dialog content instead, or somewhere else where we can get our scrolling coming like this, can fix it. Though in this case, it didn't. Why not? Dialog position fixed. Overflow. Let's refresh, because I know the old version it was working. When we open it, it's fine. And oh yeah, I just need the overflow visible on the dialog. I had to bring that back in because by default, dialogs have an overflow hidden. So I just needed to bring it back, or the mode, if you use a show modal anyway, it does. So I just had to bring the visibility back. And the main thing is my button is positioned absolute. and the absolute is looking at this, it's not looking at this. So we're removing it from the scrolling area. We take it out of the flow and we're positioning it to something else. So sometimes that can help with certain things. The term, I'm trying to remember an example of, because I don't see it now, but the scroll, what did the person call it? Scroll, where was it? Scroll burglars. I think that's a term I've heard Josh Como use, and I'm trying to remember different things that might cause scroll burglars. So if anybody has any suggestions, please do let me know. The survey I was originally the survey I'm looking at now. Oh, if you want to, you could just ask a question in the chat now if you want. But if you want this one, I could put it share. If you want to add to the survey, we can. I didn't think of that. Copy link. I'm guessing that's the right one. There we go. So if you want to add to the results, I'll gladly take it. That would have been smart for me to ask people to do that at the beginning of the stream. But yeah, if anyone remembers what Josh meant by this, or it has an example of a scroll, I forgot what he called it again already. Scroll burglar, that's it. I keep thinking gremlin, and I'm like, that's not the right one. Overflows in a div that seem like they should constrain the content. So, I mean, most overflows are going to happen because we're trying to do too much, I think. A lot. Like if you're setting a limitation on the size of something, and you're setting, so if you say the size of something is X, and the stuff inside needs more room, maybe because you wrote the CSS for it, but like there's a reason why that overflow is happening. It can be, I think one of the hard things is finding what it is. When does text wrap? When does it overflow? When it overflows, when does it overflow the direct parent, flex item, and when does it overflow the parent's parent, say a flex box? Again, it's all about like the constraints. So text wraps if it runs out of horizontal room. When it overflows if there's a limitation set on the element, on basically like the min size that the element has. Right? I'm trying to think of an example where, and it's going to over the parent. The only time I can think of it, like if you have, the only time I can think of something overflowing the parent is if, so let's just do a div, the class of flex. Let's come in there and let's just say p times 3 with lorem like that. So we get some text. We'll do a dot flex of a display, flex, and a gap of 1 rem. And we're going to do a border of 5 pixels dotted. And then on the paragraphs, we'll give those a border of 1 pixel solid red, just so we can see them. And it's like, normally they're not going to overflow. Let's make the font size bigger too here, just to make it a bit easier to see. Font size 2 rem. So they're not going to overflow anything unless there's not enough room. So like now it's actually causing the body, or the HTML, I should say, to overflow. And this is, the text isn't even overflowing, it's the children, because each child has got as small as it can possibly get to, and it can't shrink anymore because they have a flex shrink of 1 on there. And the reason they can't shrink anymore is the longest line of text in any given one of the columns. So this text here, this one here, and probably this one here, those are the lines that are or the words that are determining the smallest it can get to. It's the min size. So they've reached their min content size. And so then those columns are going to overflow outside of the parent because flex doesn't wrap by default. I don't think text will ever overflow outside. Actually, people will do this though, right? Flex and then star and then do a flex 1. In that case, can they overflow? No, they still won't. I don't know if text will overflow outside of text won't, if it's the direct child, like there's no paragraphs inside of these, I don't think text would overflow its item. because the flex shrink will always stop at the intrinsic like min content size. Fareed, I talked about that for like 15 or 20 minutes at the beginning of the stream. So he was just asking about the Figma sites. Basically, they're really bad, and I think it's a half-baked product that they shouldn't have released. If width, yeah. So if you did a width of 0, which sometimes this is actually with a width of 0 on there. No, they still won't shrink. Why isn't it? You can definitely get them to go smaller, I thought. Or is it? No. Because you'll see the min width 0 sometimes come up on things. As a trick, you can use that on form elements. I made a video because Theo talked about that, doing a min width of 0 on elements, and like, should you just do a star min width 0 because it fixes a problem with inputs? Maybe there's other things too, but it mostly fixed an issue with inputs. And I talked to him about it a little bit, and then I made a video reply talking about why I would never do this, basically. But in this case with the, oh yeah, there we go. It is causing overflow, sorry. A min width of 0 will cause it to overflow, just because you're actually saying it can get smaller. So like, that's one of the reasons I don't like that. That's probably the point they made in the video, is that you don't want that. If I do a width of 0, would it be the same? Someone said I was missing, oh, the width of 0 will. Oh wait, this should be a paragraph selector though. Oh right, flex 1. So they can grow. Yeah, okay. So if you put a width 0 or a min width 0, they will overflow, which makes sense because now they're allowed to shrink smaller than their. Wait, when I did flex 1, is it not? No, it doesn't do it there. Okay. So when we do this, we're saying that like because we have a flex grow and a flex shrink, and with the flex, actually no, with a flex 1, I don't think they're shrinking anymore. They're only growing, or maybe they're growing and shrinking. I don't remember. But because the width is 0 on them, they're able to shrink to 0, basically. Because that's not actually shrinking. We've said it's 0 pixels now. So it's not shrinking, it's just going down to what its small size was, and then it will overflow. There we go. Cool. Oh, I had flex without the dot in front. Sorry about that. There is how to change the scroll bar width. You can't, and it's not browser. So, I mean, you can change browser widths, but they've actually, the scroll bar styling has now actually, I think it was part of the interrupt project, because all the browsers, are they all? Can I use scroll bar width? The only problem is it's very limited. Yeah, so all the browsers now support this, which forever they didn't. The problem with scroll bar width is it's kind of crappy. So like the good controls we had in with the WebKit prefixed ones, we don't have. We only have the bad ones, which sort of sucks. But at least we have them. I saw a question there from Kin about Adam Argyle leaving Chrome. So he didn't leave Chrome. He got told, well, he got told to leave Chrome, right? So I don't want to comment too much on it because I only have so much of the story, but everything I understand about it, it was a pretty crappy situation. That, yeah, I think it was surprising. Well, it was surprising for everyone at the team, which is always a bad thing. The way it was done sounded like it was really, really bad. And yeah, I just think it sucks. Definitely leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth, but in how all of that was handled. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Adam gets up to now that he's going to be doing something different. But yeah, I don't know what that is yet. But it was, yeah, I was very surprised when I saw that, just because, yeah, I don't know. It seemed like that team, like the team they had doing what they were all doing, first of all, meshed really, really well. Like they all just worked really well together. They all got along, and they all like complemented each other in terms of skill set and other stuff. And just the amount of stuff that Adam was constantly doing. Yeah, I was just really, really surprised by it. And I know it's, as an outsider being surprised is one thing. When it's insiders are also, it's a little bit more difficult. That would be wild to be one. How do you vertical scroll for phones when the scroll bar needs to be hidden? Does the scroll bar need to be hidden? Uh, you know, I don't think you need to make any changes. You just, if it's a floating scroll bar that sort of appears on, does Firefox use that? Do I even have, I have a new computer now. I'm not sure. I did get it. Okay. I don't remember. No, Firefox has like the thin one by default now, right? Oh, it is a floating one. Not now. So like you can see the scroll bar there. My head's sort of on it, sorry. But you can see the scroll bar, but if I move my mouse away, or if I click, no, it's still there. I was sure I saw it. Maybe I was on a different window. Oh, there we go. It's vanished. And then when I come back on, it comes back. It's sort of a weird one, actually. Because, yeah, it's like a semi-floating one that will also vanish. Let's just try can I use for fun, caniuse.com. Yeah, that's just sort of like the default style they have on theirs now, and then it more appears on hover than when you're not hovering, and if you're on a different window, it vanishes, but you just, that's what it is. I wouldn't fight the scroll bar too much. I think the main thing that the browsers are trying to say, for whatever reason, is just like let the scroll bar be the scroll bar and don't stress. Or there, if I'm not moving my mouse, it also disappears in Firefox. So yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about styling scroll bars. I like doing it and getting something a bit more branded. You have limited styling that you can do with it, and just stick with that. I don't know. It is what it is. Oh, horizontal scrolling. Sorry. uh, the customers complain about. I don't think the well, when you say customers, do you mean the person who's, well, that's it. Now that we all, sorry, I'll say it. When you say customers, do you mean the person that you're designing a website for, or do you mean the people using the website? Because the people using the website will never notice. If it is the customers you're selling it to, the scroll bar, the base ones have all been standardized now, so we can just use scroll bar width thin and scroll bar whatever the other ones are. Is it scroll bar color? Yeah, scroll bar color. Oh, Safari's not doing it yet. I thought they had. That's interesting that they brought in width, but not the color one. Scroll bar styling is, yeah, they're still doing it that way. So Chrome has, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming in Safari at one point or another, but you never know with Safari, I guess. I wouldn't know about iOS. iOS, you can see it went from partially supported to nothing. You're never going to be able to fix that. That's just what it is. But yeah, horizontal scrolling, you can add, I would just add a manual, like a style a scroll bar to be there. So for horizontal scrolling, when you have multiple buttons and they don't fit the width of the screen, yeah, I mean, we can add, well, we have carousels coming to CSS now, right? But there's so many other things as well that it just depends exactly on what needs you have, but like it's easy enough just to make a horizontal scroller. And I think the main thing with the horizontal scrollers to do, we can do that really fast here. I'm going to change this. We're going to change this to grid just because it would bug me if I didn't. Grid, and then grid auto flow of column, and let's just add a bunch of stuff in here. Whoops. Copy, paste, paste, paste. Take that width of 0 off. And we're going to say our grid auto columns are, I have too much text in this. We'll make the font size smaller again. The grid auto columns will be, I don't know, 40%. I did 30 there, didn't I? 40%. 40, 35. We'll get something. So like, I think the main thing is just make sure it's obvious. So my grid, then I'd have an overflow X of scroll. So like, even if it's, you know, I don't know if this isn't showing up properly in some, let's save this. We can take a look in Firefox what it would look like. But like, as long as it's obvious that there's like, you want to style it in some way that's obvious, there's more content off screen, is usually, I think, the way to do it, right? Let's just go look fast at Firefox. Oh, I closed it. Firefox. Don't show. Not now. So yeah, like it's not really obvious until I hover on top of it, just because that's what this browser's doing. And that's only if I scroll on top, but just like trying to make sure, and it's not the best with like the borders and stuff I'm using, but if it's more obvious that there is content missing, then people are more likely to actually scroll left and right. Different visual indicators, especially if it's on touch, where horizontal scrolling on touch devices is much more intuitive than it is on desktops if you have a mouse. And with that, I think we're going to be winding down. It is time for me to start making dinner soon. And it's getting really hot in my office, so I'm gonna have to get a break just to cool myself off a little bit. But yeah, I want to say thank you for everyone who showed up. I apologize if anyone's just getting here now, but I guess it's just the way the cookie crumbles. There should be links in the description to a lot of stuff, but just in case there isn't, I will put the link back to csshell.com because it's a fun game if you didn't watch me playing with it. A position sticky element with some other overflow scroll and hidden elements on the page. This breaks sticky and somehow it's impossible to get it working again without restructuring the whole DOM. With other overflow scroll and hidden elements on the page. I'd have to play around with that one a little bit. Other scroll and overflowing elements on the page. Yeah, I'd have to play around with that. Sometimes with things it does mean you have to restructure things though. Like someone I was talking with, it was the positioning of something, and I'm just like, well, if it's for that purpose, why is it positioned there? Like, why is it there in the DOM anyway? So like, it depends a little bit, but. Oh, gee, thank you so much. I'm glad that I could make it enjoyable for you. Um, yeah. For everyone who is here, just in case you're normally on Twitch, I do try to dual stream, but I've been having issues streaming on Twitch, but I'll try and get that working again. But I'm guessing most people here, you're here because you're already on YouTube most of the time. But yeah, I'm going to try to get the dual streams working at one point again. But until, yeah, I don't know when my next one will be, but I always say this at the end of each one, I'll be trying to do them more regularly, and then I don't end up doing it more regularly. But it is, yeah, we'll it is what it is. I'm going to try. And if I have the time, I'll do it. But I don't often, I try to do once a month at least, but I keep running into reasons that I don't because something or another comes up, but I will be trying to do them a little bit more regularly. I will put this, I talked about it early on, but I am doing an in-person workshop in New York City at the end of the month. So if you happen to be in New York, you can check that out for more information. And with that, I think I'll be saying that's it. So thank you all so much for watching. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for the help as we went through, especially QW Dragon. Thank you very much for the tips, because I don't think I'm not sure if I would have had the patience to finish it in one sitting if it wasn't for the help along the way there. So especially on that last one, that was a little bit mean. But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.